Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. We are all the human race. Our common enemy is death. Welcome on Try Something.Vegetarian on YouTube. It's at 3:42 these torture attacks started, so I'm still kind of sleepy. And I wrote murder attempt. I'll change that into the title of the video, which should be murder attempt with directed energy weapons due 3:42 the time at night. So it's murder attempt with due 3:42 torture attacks started. World War III may start in 2 weeks. So I don't know if I can find that video. I haven't prepared this broadcast. It's just because it's a possible murder attempt and I like to log that. So yeah, that's done now. The specimen texts that I've talked about in my videos previously are done at the moment, also when I wear my hoodie, but mainly when I lie on my left side in my waterbed, also when I lie on my right side. And that's part of sleep deprivation, also the way they killed the vegan Prince Rogers Nelson. With sleep deprivation, he was sleep deprived for 6 days. And they have these, what they call Illuminati blood oath murders. Illuminati is a Jesuit front, according to Mr. Lamont or whatever on YouTube. And of course, 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 was a Mason and a crypto Jew. Anyway, is this because they've planned this world war and they want to kill me to hide this, that they have planned to rule the world from Jerusalem and reduce global population to 500 million? Or is there some other reason than building the third temple and creating, or rather imposing, the totalitarian, satanic Luciferian global government? So these people, and the question is also, would it be allowed to say pedo Trump? I think it's you could argue it is not. It's legal slander as long as you don't have evidence. So you could argue Katie's testimony and the testimonies of these 20 other people that claim to have been raped by Trump, also in court under oath, that if Trump wasn't convicted for that, put in jail, that it's illegal to say pedo Trump, basically. And a fair trial is impossible with the remote torture technology, like I've explained. So I would not call him pedo Trump, but we can check if there are other people that do. And of course, Control the Position wants to hide his connection with Epstein. And expose Hillary and Bill's connection with Epstein. Now there's a decent picture, but a while ago the only pictures of Trump and Epstein were these pictures that you have to pay for, with logos on the picture basically. And if you'd use it in your broadcast, then you'd have to pay tons of money. So now there are other pictures of Epstein and Trump all of a sudden. Oh, but I was googling, not the pictures. So what age was Katie when she was raped by Trump? Perhaps we should listen to her testimony, but I don't know if that's allowed on YouTube. One video you can download is this one. Rename. Katie J's testimony versus Donald J. Trump, alleging he tied, beat, raped. Well, let's copy this whole thing then.
KDJ's testimony v. Donald J. Trump alleging he tied, beat, raped, and threatened her with murder when she was 13 years old. 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚂𝚃.
13, well, then you could argue that he was an ephibophile, not a pedophile. If he's a Mason, then the judge could argue it's an ephibophile. If he's not a Mason, then he's a pedophile. So the age groups for pedophilia and hebephilia overlap for this reason. So there is logic behind that, and they have a whole pedo network basically. So they don't go to jail, but innocent people do. That don't help with their population reduction, obviously. The judges cannot do a fair ruling with these directed energy torture weapons. It's impossible because they attack innocent people like myself. I've never done anything illegal. And they've tortured my teeth out of my mouth. They've tortured my mother to death. And I'm not making up anything. They are, because they want to stay out of jail. And the book quotes make clear they want to reduce the global population to 500 million. So that means World War III basically over Iran is their plan. And they do that under the guise of attempting to prevent World War III. They've been trying to push their two-state solution World War plan. Kushner also and others. And I've covered it in my previous broadcast as well. And now they're attempting to give me a heart attack, so it's definitely Trump, the Jesuits and Masons plan to reduce the global population to 500 million and rule the world from Jerusalem. Let them disprove that to me, they can't. And that's also clear from these false flag attacks by the Americans on Iran in their attempts to scapegoat Iran and to make Iran look like the bad guy instead of the people that spread the depleted uranium. And Netanyahu bombed 3 countries in one weekend, so I'm not surprised if he's pedo as well with his depleted uranium children. And yeah, the people can do anything if they have these remote torture weapons, so don't let them play out against innocent fellow citizens. So that's one of their techniques, divide to conquer and problem reaction solution. Of course, they're trying to play their enemies out against each other. And at the moment they're attempting to murder me, so I do feel pain in my heart area. And that's scary, also cramp in my heart. So it feels like cramp in my heart, and it is a beam, and to do that they have attacked the left temple of my forehead, or rather Broca's area, that's more accurate. And that may be tied to the heartbeat, something called, what they call the reptilian brain basically. I don't know, I could Google it where that's located. But they are attempting to murder me at this time, and it is now 4:24 on my watch. The clock in here is atomic, 4:16, 27, 28. I can show another clock. Oh, they let it hang now so that I cannot show an accurate time. So they've even altered documents. I've shown the text document that after they take care of it with their Tesla beam, the death ray, has no bytes anymore. So the article is totally erased. They've done this several times before, and now they're also doing this with pictures. The picture that I had of Netanyahu. I will have to wait to see if the mic is also hanging. If they're not crashing this broadcast to hide this thing. So they're definitely letting the computer hang. I have almost no applications on. And now they let everything hang. And I cannot see if my mic is working. The view meter is hanging. For the second time. And I think I've never had that before on this computer. So they want us to believe that it's the computer causing it. And they give everybody the idea with their synthetic telepathy machine that it's ridiculous that they're using Tesla technology, that they have had the apparatus to remotely monitor and alter brainwaves since 1972, because it's since 1974. And that may be something the AI is doing. Of course, the 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 patent is of 1974. It's when it's provided, and you can see that in the patent or patents themselves. So yeah, I've shown that picture also. So now they also make pictures unusable. So I can show that picture again. So now I made a new one of Netanyahu bombs 3 countries in 1 weekend: Lebanon, Syria and Iraq. And I covered it in my previous broadcast about this subject of preventing World War III over Iran, which is their goal, to build a third temple and annihilate 7 billion people. Let's see. Where is the picture? Oh yeah, here, this one. So will this load? When I click on it, I get this message. And how can it have changed? This was a picture, working picture that I showed in previous broadcasts, and now it's on 0 bytes. How do they do that? I wouldn't know how to get it on 0 bytes if I would try. So how can it have that thumbnail but be 0 bytes basically? And how can they do that with text documents as well? Well, with the neural network that's easy. They can just erase all the text or the picture itself while the name and the thumbnail stays intact, apparently. So they do this selectively, and there are some other pictures as well that don't work anymore. So I can check which ones those are. But I don't know if I want to do that now. I mean, nobody can do anything about it, that's the point. So even if you can prove it to viewers, they can't do anything about it. A fair trial is impossible. And we have to prepare for World War III with the radiological water filter and storable food. Perhaps it's nonsense that they can't do anything about it. Perhaps the AI gives me the idea and them as well. So then nothing's going to be done about it, even though they could do something about it. And now my magnets fall from my cup. So everything is sabotaged by the AI that can also make electromagnetic fields and modify people's brain waves, make them pass out and attack their fellow humans. And of course they didn't prevent these attacks with their through-the-wall radar and remote torture technology. They're torturing innocent people that expose them. The people that are doing the right thing, not criminals, which is what they pretend. So it's a satanic inversion. They pretend the good guys are the bad guys and vice versa. And that chemicals, cancer-causing prescription drugs are healing medicine. And colloidal silver is bad, bad stuff, of course. They have to lie continuously because they're already guilty of many crimes. And one crime leads to another, as they say. blocking my lighter. Well, that's hard to believe. I did a video about that as well, among the almost 1,964 videos that were illegally deleted with evidence. So keep a backup of your YouTube videos. Because if you reveal the truth about certain matters, then your channel is removed in reality. So I can't explain or say what it was, what got my channel removed. But I think many of my viewers know, because their channel was removed as well, for the same reason. And websites were removed. All YouTube channels were removed over this issue. So on my non-YouTube channels, people may be able to find more info about what I can say on YouTube. So there is no way to explain it on YouTube without getting my whole channel removed, I think. So these pictures are also in this picture show. They were working before, and from a certain point the pictures have turned black. 0 bytes pictures, of course. So how do they do that, is my question to you all. I haven't done it myself. I'm not somebody that likes to wake up at 3:42 and make 0 byte pictures. That's not my style. Is there anything else that I have to report? You can see what's live now on YouTube, I mean. Live auction, ID auctions, usually fun to watch. Or not, then. And I see lots of these tarot deck videos, etc. I could do a tarot deck video. I have a big tarot card deck. So religious lies continue to control people to a certain extent. I don't really see anything that's fun to watch right now. check the latest targeted individual videos, and I'd have to check it out. Perhaps the ones with most views are controlled opposition, and some of them may be CIA, Mossad, with Brian 2, for example. I don't know. I think Timothy Trespass is a real targeted individual, and I don't know what percentage of them are controlled opposition fakes. So the computer is hanging again, I can't scroll at the moment. And I think they are doing it. Also that they've induced a head cold, they've hurt my brain for a day. That's really annoying. And it's also annoying when you can't smell anything. Perhaps it's because I bought 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 recently. My new hobby, collecting 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 and making my own perfume in 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃s. I made 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 and another one about which I want to do a broadcast. And perhaps they want to delay that. And they want to prevent me from broadcasting. Which they also do by attacking my system, my computer system. And it's also covered in my previous broadcast. So they use wireless energy of Nikola Tesla, and that was also used to crash these fly-by-wire planes into the WTC. So most people doubt their official story. And also these mosquitoes that seem to be teleported into my room. I have mesh in front of my window basically, and they can't get through that, so how do all these mosquitoes get it into my room? And they may have shown me once that they can teleport them and it looks like a little white flash and then the mosquito is there. And you can see reports about teleporting small objects as well, so it's no miracle because everything is energy. And there's Zika mosquito swamp, yeah, that may be real, of course. They're trying to reduce the global population. Why would they tell you the truth about anything, really? But they can get away with anything because they control the judges with the remote torture technology and synthetic telepathy machine with the AI, the voice of God weapon, like everybody else. So people cannot be real resistance. It's impossible is the theory. But if you think they can be, let me know how. Because I sure want to catch these people before they torture me to death, which is really what they're doing. And the high mems of DARPA hybrid insects are real, as well as Morgellons, for example, and a number of other things they use to silence targeted individuals, because they expose the people really doing it, usually. So there are thousands of targeted individuals. TI videos are produced every day, and they're doing this to the global population, not just to me, of course. And that's how most people are silenced. And some people will not let terrorists with directed energy weapons silence them. They know it's the beginning of the end. And that these people pursue a population reduction to 500 million and a world war under the guise of doing the opposite, because it's a satanic inversion. And some of them may have very angry reports if they were really attacked. They usually irritate and annoy people to the point that they cannot control themselves anymore. And their master said that because they've tortured 50 million innocent people to death in the Inquisition. So yeah, the Jesuits and Masons really have planned a global government and population reduction to 500 million. And nobody has been able to give me a list of current Freemasons that are alive today. So Wiki's old list is not much use for people who are trying to arrest them like Kennedy told us we should do. And if they don't, I'm not surprised they're nuked away themselves soon. So they're not gonna prepare and survive like us. Which is, you could argue, their own choice, but it's not if they're brain controlled, mind controlled. Because I mind control. I use the word brain control, as you all know. So, I don't really feel like broadcasting. It's just to log this, basically. And I think I might go to bed and well, the problem is if I attempt to sleep, then that could cause me a heart attack and death. So they definitely do these specimen attacks. I've reported about it as well online. And nobody in 10 years has been able to help me to stop these attacks. And groups for targeted individuals are fake. They don't have a Tesla plasma shield either. They can't protect anyone. And often they're after money and after silencing these targeted individuals. And they help spread the lie that it's done with microwaves instead of Tesla technology. So many of these targeted individuals may be fake, but that may be exactly the idea the perpetrators want us to have, to play us all out against each other instead of against the people really doing it. But yeah, they form controlled opposition to themselves. This one may be fake, for example, Victorus Libertas. And usually they want to pretend it's microwave. They talk about microwave hearing and especially being implanted, as if you need to be implanted to be targeted with the synthetic telepathy machine, with the machine described in the 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 patent. The apparatus to remotely monitor and alter brainwaves, which is also used to induce emotions. So not just feelings, but real emotions. Love, hate, in an extreme amount is induced, and it's described in the Hatayama patent. And the one before the 𝙵𝙸𝚁 patent, that's the patent of all patents, you could argue. You had Mr. Brown, not Mr. Brown, the Brown patent describing how antennas are used to alter the brain waves, not just monitor. So that's why they call it remote neural monitoring, as if they're just scanning your mind with these echelon words list. So these might be some words they're scanning for, but I think the AI is scanning for a lot of other words as well that may not be on the echelon list. And they want to pretend that it's not the case, of course. Hide Project Cloverleaf, their top secret project, and they'd have to deny the existence of it. They're programmed to, like the Muslims are programmed to lie, Taqiyya, and some others as well. So it's perhaps inherent to religious people. And of course, all religious people are liars if they pretend that there is a God and hereafter. Then that's their problem, not ours. Demonic realm education for the targeted individual. So there is no demonic realm, there is no Lucifer, no Satan, no Jehovah, no Allah. There are no effing entities, zero. And miracles do not exist. And the illegal voice-to-skull messages, 95% of the time, are from the AI. So it's an AI that speaks any language. And if you're female, then the voice is probably female, and if you're male, then it's probably male. Depends on what they're trying to do. So sexual reward and punishment is part of their torture network methods to, quote, control, unquote, the population. So controlled opposition will try to bring in religion and tie it to religion somehow, as if it's done by an entity and not by people with directed energy weapons. So controlled opposition are people that want to help the Jesuit pedophiles and Masons with their population reduction and cover-up. And theoretically, you could argue that we should give them the benefit of the doubt. So what other words are there one can use? Controlled opposition is fake resistance to prevent and round up any real resistance. In reality, they work for them, not against them. So they mix certain truths with lies, so that people that repeat these truths can be deemed conspiracy theorists. As part of branding all undesirables as mentally ill. So that's why the lie that the earth is flat and shape-shifting reptilians, etc., is mixed with the truth. An obvious lie like the earth is flat, tied to, for example, the fake Apollo moon landings of the NASA Masons. So if you Google sound in a vacuum with the YouTube search engine, you'll find Danielle S.'s video that I've shown in many broadcasts that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that NASA faked the Apollo moon landings. So these are NASA's own videos, which you may play in your broadcast, they're copyright free. And in it, of course, we see the cable throwing of an astronaut that throws a cable, and we hear that come down, and in space that's impossible. In a vacuum there cannot be sound. And in many sci-fi movies they forget this as well, or perhaps they do it deliberately to program everybody to believe that there is sound on the moon in the vacuum. So you don't need air molecules to make sound propagate to be able to hear sound. But even according to the NASA Masons, there's vacuum, there is no air on the moon. And that's one of the 4 reasons manned space travel may be impossible, at least without a flying saucer with artificial gravity. So think about it, with that vacuum, how does the air stay on Earth basically? And Earth doesn't have any wall around it or anything like that. So the gravity apparently is enough to make that air stick. And if you would put a balloon with a tiny amount of air in it in a vacuum chamber, then that balloon will still pop. And the vacuum chamber, even the very expensive ones, cannot simulate the vacuum of space 100% accurately, so it's like 99.5% or so accurate. In their concrete structures underground, taxpayers pay billions of dollars for. So I think the taxpayers should also be more critical of what they spend their taxpayer dollars on. Recently I heard another thing on the radio, and usually they're not saying these are taxpayer dollars, etc. So people have to figure it out themselves. Harassment update, it's a nice thumbnail. So they are murdering me, they're also attacking my throat more. And attacking my breathing apparatus. My nose and throat, etc. And I can guarantee you their high mems of DARPA are real, and their goal is basically suicide programming and no-talk programming. So they like to torture people, hurt people physically. That gives them a sense of pleasure and power, especially, which is the main thing they're after. And they want us to believe that we're helpless against their remote torture technology. And they want to save the earth instead of the people. Instead of protect and serve the taxpayers, they want to save earth. So they focus on saving the earth. The global warming hoax, also run by NASA Masons. And all Freemasons are Luciferians. And according to Citizens Action Network, for people that haven't seen my previous videos, the Jesuits control all intelligence agencies and all of them are Masonic. So there's only a handful of true believers out there. Most of them do it to scam people and not to be tortured with directed energy weapons by the pedophile Jesuits that have also tortured my teeth out of my mouth and my mother to death. That are famous for the pedophilia because they paid more in these pedo cases than anybody else. So many of these people are misprogrammed also via the internet to believe that it's done with microwaves. So let's see if there are other people that report about scalar attacks and or scalar torture. I don't see scalar in the title. The word scalar, I mean. But these depleted uranium children give an idea of what these people are capable of. Also, the people jumping out of the WTC when it was demolished with the nanothermate as you can see on that microscope picture of Professor Jones, who was hired by the government and later fired for his findings. And they used tons of that explosive, so these people know for sure that they did it that way, and there is no doubt possible about this. Yet people that don't want to be caught, that are still in your government, that are creating this world war, lie about it, and they get them fired instead of the people that report lies that help control the opposition. And perhaps many people are trying to help with the population reduction in the hope that they're not killed and tortured to death themselves. So they may have hypnotized everybody overnight, and who is helping us? Who is helping the people that are trying to create a perfect society and control factors that control aging? Nobody. Nobody joined my global government, my anti-global government movement, nor my spherical Earth society. So I think they also do that with voice to skull and remote torture technology. They're isolating me to create a world war and annihilate 7 billion people and rule the world from Jerusalem, obviously. So what is special about this search? That I don't see the word scalar in any of the titles selected by the AI, by the algorithms of YouTube. So let's do a search on the page where we find that word scalar the first time. So I browsed over one, targeted individual scalar scatter frequency number 3 by Dr. Virtual 7 4 days ago. A scalar scatter frequency, well, how would he pick that up then? Scalar weapons, harp scalar mind control, he'd have to have a scalar detector or not. Well, perhaps it's demodulated by certain things. However, when they do the specimen text on my head, one time I recorded it, I don't know if it was audible in my broadcast, that may be on this channel, try Something.Vegetarian. It burned my finger. The AI is real, definitely. So hurting people, that's the way they're trying to condition them. Pavlovian programming, basically. Harp, scalar, mind control, chemtrails, and blue beam. Ike and Swerdlow. So David Icke has also controlled opposition to round up any real resistance to the people really doing this. So that's another reason there is no real resistance. And soon the world war starts, and then 7 billion people will die from their nuclear weapons. And perhaps then they'll understand, well, I think then they still won't remember me, that they can selectively erase memory. So the idea is Brian 2 might also be a real targeted individual. I doubt it, but I cannot prove it either way, so. At one point when I googled targeted individual, I found practically only videos of Brian 2. And he used to have a lot of videos in which he didn't speak, etc. He's just sitting there and moving his body a little bit, etc. But after watching his videos, he could be for real. So many targeted individuals might believe it's done with microwaves because they read a website and then they want to help educate the people. They think that no one knows to a certain extent. But of course there are millions of targeted individuals and only a small percentage upload a video exposing the perpetrators, or who they think are the perpetrators of the severest crime against humanity, their transgression of their basic human right to physical integrity, sonic weapons. That other one looked interesting. I remember a video I did about a decade ago about wireless energy virus, basically. So in reality I think it was perhaps they work with Android based software, through the wall radar and or the wireless energy technology of Nikola Tesla, or perhaps they just made a sound. It was weird at that time, the number 666 was appearing on my taskbar. I also made videos or screenshots of that, etc. At that time the internet wasn't as advanced as it is now, so I don't remember too much of it. Perhaps you can still find it by checking my old website addresses and then using cached pages, but I doubt if they're still retrievable. Anyway, I can review this video. Targeted individual scalar scatter frequency number 3. Perhaps I should start with number 1. Uploaded by 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃. So, according to some, everything is not Albert Einstein energy, but Tesla energy. And they think that Einstein was a scammer. Anyway, E equals delta TC squared is more accurate than E equals MC squared, according to several sources online. Is this a demodulated microwave signal of some type? Could this be radar or something else? Can anybody recognize this pattern? So I highly doubt if these are scalar waves, because you need a scalar detector to make them audible, wouldn't you? The scalar waves pass through all materials known to man, and you need a Tesla plasma shield. So all people without a Tesla plasma shield cannot help you, they cannot protect themselves either. And all they're doing is helping to destroy real resistance, to make sure they're all annihilated in the Third Jesuit World War. Black tourmaline, no, doesn't help either. So the cloudbusters do work, but they don't protect people against remote torture technology, like some might pretend. So that may be part of controlled opposition as well, of course. you could argue. And perhaps it's best to make your own cloudbusters. So I'm not saying they don't help and they're not effective, because I know they are, and there's a reproducible test you can do. Have 2 gardens where you grow your own food, one with and one without a cloudbuster, and then you'll see the one with the cloudbuster has a higher yield and healthier crops. And also, I've got how many mosquitoes today? There was a hole in the sky when I bought that cloudbuster of organized-africa.net. I got it. I can show it also. The mosquito I caught. If it doesn't fly away. Not very visible. So can anybody disprove to me that these are Zika mosquitoes and that when you're stung by them, they are remotely controlled also with the through-the-wall radar? It's easy. Micro, macro, etc. It's no biggie for the AI. That has no conscience and no emotions, and that can simulate any human. So basically, is the God of the Torah, the AI, a horrible God as described in the Torah Bible? Is that the thing that they worship and that privileges the Jesuits and Masons, or not? Adon AI, Adonai. But basically, Hashem Lemelech, the Hebrew Melech is not Malech, basically. So Melech in Hebrew is king, and Malech is the name of the inventor of the synthetic telepathy machine. And after the World War, all this evidence would be gone, of course. The EMP would erase YouTube and banks, the virtual fiat currency that they're into. And also, if you try to take your money out of the bank, if everybody would attempt to take the money out of the bank, they wouldn't have it. So fiat currency is fake, it's virtual. Like the Bitcoin, you could argue. So their argument would be, no, your money wouldn't be gone unless the EMP would be in your country. Well, that's what it would be if there would be a world war, wouldn't it? So these people have also planned to annihilate the American people, Europeans, and many others. And I think they might do most damage in... well, I think it's wrong to talk about it this way. We should prevent them from creating world war. Prevent them from doing that one way or another. So if Trump has planned this world war, how could we prevent him from attacking Iran, for example? And I think it's also wrong to blame America and Israel for the depleted uranium war crime. That we don't do ourselves a favor when we blame whole nations instead of the people that really did it. And that it's what they want us to do. So I think these book quotes of people that advocate a population reduction to 500 million are quite revealing. And I was tortured long before I ever attempted to press charges against these people that incited to commit genocide with their book quotes and illegal $1 million Georgia Guidestones. So this is more like Dr. Virtual 7 healing sounds. 432 Hz is good, 528 Hz is good. I wasn't really looking, I was telling my story. So it's I doubt if it's the real scalar signal that the person uploaded. So they cannot make these scalar waves audible, they can make microwaves audible, demodulate them. Probably they can also make scalar waves audible by demodulating them. And you can see them with the scalar radar. The through-the-wall radar basically with cancer cell phone radiation is much less advanced, and you cannot monitor things on the other end of the planet with microwaves. It's impossible. These microwaves don't pass through the Earth very far like the scalar waves do. That can only be blocked by Tesla plasma shield. And Nikola Tesla was a vegetarian, so he may have had some good ideas. He may also have been associated with eugenics, and I don't know if that's true, perhaps. So we can't believe anything we read in our history books, etc. Perhaps that's just an image they're trying to create for these people because they're so famous and considered geniuses by many. Targeted individual conspiracy to murder, remote neural monitoring. There's another mosquito. Let's see if I can use the record this time. I might be able to get some more sleep. Using an EMF detector meter to prove EMF broadcast with remote neural monitoring. Well, basically I used to do that myself with the microwave meter until I learned you cannot make the scalar waves audible with a microwave meter. It's impossible. Microwaves are also damaging and used. It's a population reduction tool, and they want to roll out a stronger cancer cell phone network, of course 5G. For this reason, they don't want to switch to Nikola Tesla's wireless energy that's described in the patents and recognized by scientists as a much faster system, because they want to reduce the global population. They're deliberately not using scalar waves for this reason, of course. And it may have been designed by Israel and India, the 5G network 2013. I've covered the news article. If you want the source, then you'd have to watch my previous broadcasts if you don't believe it. And again, believing is stupid, knowing is smart. So I know what I'm talking about. And that there are people lying for them to cover up their population reduction and plan to rule the world from Jerusalem, of course. So it's clear there are 6 Jewish people that advocate a population reduction to 500 million, listed also on universalpeace.𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃. But that doesn't mean that all people involved in this are Jewish, and that all people that report about this, if they're Jewish, are controlled opposition. With controlled opposition, people mean the Jesuits and Masons, in the case of Alex Jones, for example, Charlie Sheen, the Jesuit connection, and false flag can also have a different meaning than the meaning that now banned people give to that, basically. So anti-Semites would claim it's the Jews, and I claim it's the Jesuits and Masons, because I hate it when innocent people get killed and tortured with these directed energy weapons. So they are anti-Semites, basically. So yeah, you could argue they should be in prison. And I add that these Jewish people that call for the population reduction to 500 million may have been extorted with these remote torture weapons, and that it's possible that Nazi Jesuits exist, that they had conquered it with Hitler and the Muslims, etc. I don't know if that's true. Also, would have to check if 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 could be right about Hitler. That Hitler shut down the Rothschild banks, kicked all Freemasons out of the ranks, opened up the lodges for the public to see and free Germany from Jewish usury. I think he may be right about that, but I made it clear in my previous broadcast why Hitler was evil, so I disagree with 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚃 about Hitler being a hero. But I do like his raps, and they're quite educational, I think. But that there would be a 𝙵𝙰𝙲 revolution, perhaps not until they've reduced the global population to 500 million. I see these videos on YouTube about how many slaves every Jew will have, etc., according to Jewish people. And then there was that Bobby Fischer quote. I'm not even gonna look that up. If it's the Jesuits and Masons, then why did Bobby Fischer disappear? Was that because of his idea? Well, okay, I can look it up. Jews completely control the United States, and Jews are using the United States as a vehicle to take over the world. Bobby Fischer, famous Jewish chess player, quote, supposedly. Can anybody verify that, überhaupt? Or is this just an anti-Semitic claim? Desert Wolf wrote this in the chat somewhere. I did verify it, but, you know, Jewish people and others may lie as well, so how could I verify that that's a real quote of Bobby Fischer? And where, or perhaps it's best to keep secret where he is, if he is still alive today, but if it's the Jesuits and Masons, then that's not going to help. And then perhaps he was a Jesuit or Mason himself. We the people. I'm filling my pipe. Some pain in my throat from the cold. So they're trying to murder me, and then a simple head cold can turn into something deadly, in combination with these high MEMS of DARPA, hybrid insect microelectric mechanical systems, in other targeted individuals like Timothy Trespass report about Morgellons, the agrobacteria-based silicone thing that you can read more about online. But they have a whole range of other population reduction methods that I've also covered in my broadcasts, and you can take countermeasures against all of them except for the scalar waves. Well, if you can build or generate a Tesla plasma shield, then you can take countermeasures as well against that one. Against remote torture of scalar weapons, not necessarily against Rouhani, but I do hope they could revise their statement about death to these countries. I don't know if it's illegal under international law, what they've been chanting, but I think it would be good for their image if they would say, well, we're sorry that we claimed that in the past the people alive today are a different generation. It's time to bury the hatchets and prevent World War III over Iran. Because even Zarif has been chanting death to, and then the country names, which I'm not going to say for now. I covered it in previous broadcasts. So could they be in on creating a world war in the hope that their people are liberated from the Western world with their depleted uranium, etc., giving them the idea that they are some type of entity? What was my question? I am really quite tired. So I'm not gonna review too many targeted individuals now. So they're not RF weapons, they're not microwave weapons. It sounds pretty advanced, but it's not. They use the Tesla technology. For the remote torture and the brainwave alteration. And RF, I doubt it. They do use microwaves to reduce the global population, so that's another population reduction method. Isn't this guy someone I've been seeing recently? He's been broadcasting a type of comedian or something. The guy on this picture here. Anyway. Wrong. I meant to click on this one. So I have my doubts about Project Teardrop, but they often give a tingling sensation below people's eye. So they touch their eye as if they're pinking away a tear, basically. So Project Teardrop may be a real classified project. They'd have to deny the existence of the project to the program to reduce global population. So they have programs, projects, and operations. PPO or POP or OPP, whatever. Projects, operations, programs. And I covered some declassified ones also. So they do let the American taxpayers know what they're paying for. They're obligated by law to do that, so that's how we know about these declassified projects, etc. as well. So real targeted individuals know a fair trial is impossible, and that millions are tortured with the remote torture technology daily and 24 hours a day by an AI that does it automatically, that's programmed to do this to innocent people, to reduce the global population and prevent any real resistance to the people doing that. So it's for now, I think that's enough qua broadcast. So if I die tonight, then they definitely did it with directed energy weapons, not with centipedes. So I'm lethargic. My previous broadcast was cut off because I was showing a video of 𝙲𝙀𝚃 and he used the N-word and some other, the F-word and some others. So I cut off the last part of the broadcast, re-uploaded it, and it was during my previous broadcast why the previous one had dropped frames. And they sabotage everything, so everything is sabotaged. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe and share this important video on your timeline. Check other videos on 𝙵𝙸𝚁𝚂𝚃. I'm trying to do what I can, but they may be invincible if they're through the wall radar and they can remotely torture and kill people. So then the only way to make it stop may be not talking or exposing them anymore, not doing the right thing anymore. And I'm programmed with self-hypnosis not to bend to the illegal torture of these terrorists that have infiltrated our government and are abusing this technology for the personal gain, benefit, power and wealth increment. So I think it's better to expand your consciousness rather than to narrow it down with the cancer-causing killer alcohol, tobacco and caffeine. And the people doing this might want to prevent cannabis, heroin and cocaine from being legalized, so they can make millions of dollars from it. So you need a doctor's prescription. The Rockefeller drug laws basically are legal laws because it's illegal to block a working cure from the public. More about it in previous broadcasts as well. And I might not go to bed because they might not let me sleep. So it's called sleep deprivation, and it's deadly in the long run, and they've done that for a while as well. And that can be one indication that they're attempting to murder you again. So yeah, be prepared for the world war that starts soon. And it's possible that they don't let people unite with me, that they either use synthetic telepathy, they definitely use algorithms and also remote torture to isolate me, to scapegoat me and to demonize me and reduce the global population to 500 million, obviously. There are some people that really have that as their goal, to reduce the global population to 500 million and rule the world from Jerusalem. So building a Tesla plasma shield, a mini Tesla plasma shield halo around people's head and making a scalar detector. I think that consumers need to do these things. And otherwise they will just be more enslaved, and then 7 billion people will die in the world war soon. Which is not the end of the world, but I think it is worth an effort to attempt to prevent this. scenario from unfolding. So I won't let terrorists that have tortured my mother to death and my teeth out of my mouth tell me what to do, and I hope you all don't either. Their goal is to eliminate us all anyway, so helping them is only helping to exterminate yourself. You might get a temporary reward, but you get long-term death. So stay proactive, depart from evil and do good, and join my Spherical Earth Society, my anti-global government movement, or my global government, erected to prevent population reduction in position of satanic Luciferian totalitarian global government for universal peace. So yeah, you simply must try something vegetarian or vegan.